Make sure that I'm recording. All right. So we're going to make sure that you are understanding what parents need from you. If you want to connect with parents who are either engaging in services with you or who you want to engage in services with you, you want them to be compliant, you want them to give you information. It's so critical that you understand where they are. Okay. And I think for a lot of us, we just kind of make the assumption that I'm the, school counselor, I'm the school social worker, I'm providing mental health services. They want my help. They should just do what I say. But that attitude or that perspective does not create a healthy collaborative relationship. And that's really what we're going for, right? As a provider, we're looking to partner with the person that's been there and that will continue to be there. And so I use an empathy map as something that I started using years ago to make sure that I was on the right wavelength in terms of how I present information to the people that I'm supporting, okay? So the first thing I want you to do is think of a parent, and I'm going to check the comments just in case somebody's watching live. Think of a parent who you are struggling to connect with, a parent who you say like, man, I really need to connect with this parent. They haven't been answering my calls or they haven't been responding to my emails. It's really important that I connect with this parent. I'm going to call this parent for today. I'm going to say, I'm thinking of a parent who is a single mom, who is struggling financially, and her child is having some behavioral challenges at school. And my goal is to help her child get some resources. Okay. So that's the parent that I'm going to be thinking of. So the first thing I want to say is, what is this parent thinking and feeling? And it's really important. And it can be a good thing to even pull out a feelings wheel if you need to help you kind of get into the frame of mind. And this is not a long process. It's not something that you have to do for every single parent, but it will change the way you view parent and family engagement and help you come up with strategies that will overcome obstacles with those most resistant or kind of challenging parents. So the first thing I'm going to say, if this is a single mom who's struggling financially, and has a son with some behavioral challenges. So the first thing I might say is she's overwhelmed, frustrated, distracted. She's got a full plate. She's thinking about how to pay bills. She's worried about feeding her kids, clothing kids. She may be embarrassed. Maybe she has always been in a good situation and maybe the pandemic took her out. Maybe this recession hitting has just really pushed her over the edge, right? Maybe she's ashamed. Maybe she is what I might call as a trauma-informed coach activated. So that means her trauma response. So she's feeling emotionally activated, or trauma response is kind of kicked up. She may be thinking that she doesn't want that if she talks to you or she asks you for a resource or she even accepts your resources, that everyone will know her business, right? Maybe she wants to maintain some privacy. Maybe she feels insecure. Okay, so you can go on and on with this, but this kind of gives you a frame of reference of what she might be thinking and what she might be feeling. The next thing you want to say is, what is she seeing or hearing as she walks in the door? What is she of my office, of my school building? What is she seeing and hearing out in the community? What has she heard through the grapevine about me? So maybe she is seeing and hearing negative reports about her child. An instance where I'm seeing a parent and I know that they are getting negative reports from classroom teachers and administrators and the after school program, if that's all they ever hear, the first word they're going to hear from me is a positive. I'm going to make a point to go and connect with their child, give them a high five, catch them doing something good. And I'm going to say, hey, I just want to let you know I checked in on your son. He's having such a good day today. I complimented him for the way he was walking in the hallway. I just wanted you to know that. And I just wanted to check in and make sure everything was okay with you, right? I'm going to make sure that if all they're hearing is negative reports about their child, then I'm going to make sure that the first conversation they have with me is one that's hopeful. It's one that's going to inspire them and let them know that, hey, I'm on your side. And I'm not trying to put anything else on your plate, right? They might be seeing lots of requests, right? Maybe somebody's saying, well, we want to get your child involved with services. And all they're thinking is, I can't afford to miss work because you're going to ask me to take off of work to come here and have a conversation with you. And if I take off of work, that means I'm missing $30 or $40. I can't afford to do that, right? So you might say, what are they saying and doing? And this is the challenge that I think sometimes we have because we're not having a lot of conversations, right? So you're saying, I've been calling, I'm trying to have a conversation, right? So you say, well, what are they doing? Well, what do we know? Well, she's working, right? She has a job. She's making sure her child gets to school on time or making sure that her child gets to school. Maybe it's not even on time, but she's making sure that he gets to school. What she might be saying, maybe you can't get a phone call home, but maybe you can get a message sent. I've told people that, sometimes you have to set up a Google text number so to be able to text people, because if they don't have enough minutes on their phone or they are waiting on that phone card to recharge, maybe they don't have the ability to talk, but they can get a text message. So what are they saying and what are they doing? She's caring for her child every day. Maybe the child comes to school, he's always clean, he always looks like he has what he needs, even though it's a stress for her. Now you go to, what does she actually want? And this is the pivotal part, because if you can figure out what she actually wants, you can position yourself in a space that gives her at least something that she wants. And it might require you to partner with someone else in your school building or your district. It might require you to share, find out about a resource that might benefit her. It might require you to just kind of make some, educated guesses about what she might want, okay? So if I know she is overwhelmed, frustrated, distracted, her plate's full, she's got bills that are due, she's worried about the kids, she's feeling embarrassed, might be ashamed, she's got a lot of negative emotions, not feeling very positive, what does she want? She might want to feel better. She might want to know her kids are okay. She might want her son to be successful, right? She wants to maybe have a better paying job. Or just more money in general. Right? She might just want, hey, I just want help. Maybe she wants a listening ear or some support. Sometimes listening to somebody vent for 5 or 10 minutes before you drop on their plate what you want them to do for you really does go a long way. But when you realize that before you pick up the phone to have that phone call, before you do that home visit, before you send that email, it puts a different energy behind what you do. As you think about this, what pains are they having, right? So the financial struggle, not enough help. Back in the day, and this is, I don't know if you're even really allowed to do this, but back in the day, we might, before I worked at a small charter at one point, and there wasn't a robust bus system at that time. So when there was travel issues, we might say like, hey, if you're open to carpooling or you're willing to carpool, let us know. We'll put your name on a list. Sometimes that's beneficial. If you got 4 or 5 single parents in your community, maybe you want to create a single parent support group, right? A lot of times we frame this from what is best for us, but if we flip that and look at what's best for them, a lot of times we can get ahead. And then I think this one is really important. What progress are you seeing? When I used to work on attendance, I improved the attendance scores of my school. I don't remember the exact statistics anymore, but I know we were down at one point to like low 70s, maybe lower than that in terms of our attendance each day. And it came up over 20 points under my watch. One of the things that I did, in addition to calling home every single time somebody missed, so they had a robo dialer and they got a personal phone call from me. If I got to the place where they were getting ready to approach an attendance improvement plan, and I was getting ready to send out that letter or require that we have a meeting to make sure that they understand, like, here's the bottom line on that. I put them on my radar. And so I was checking on them. So they would come up on my radar if they were missing, but when they started to show back up, when they were starting to have better attendance, I would go out and write a thank you note for them. And I would have the principals and the classroom teachers sign it and say, thank you so much for getting your son to school on time. Now, is that going to make the world of difference in their life? No, it's not going to pay their bills or anything like that. But if you have been used to getting negativity from a person or a place or an organization, that thank you card goes a long way to helping to shift the climate of the relationship. So what gains are they making? Have you noticed that she's been answering the phone more, right? That might be, hey, thank you so much for taking my call. Are you noticing that the child is getting to school on time and they were getting to school late before? Those are the kind of things you want to look for, okay? When you do the parent empathy map, what you ask yourself is, okay, now what? Knowing what I know, having the assumptions that I have, what's the next right step? What should I do in this situation? What would be really helpful for this family? How can I position myself? And you can start like, hey, I'm just calling because I know that there's been a lot going on with your job transition or and I just wanted to follow up and make sure that you had everything you need. I was talking to a couple of people in the community, and I found out about some great resources, and I just wanted to check and see if that was something that might be helpful for you. If not, I totally understand, but I just wanted to make sure that you knew this was available, because I love when good people have what they need. And when you frame it that way, it helps people to be more comfortable to receive. The expectation that everyone is just hungry to take whatever they can get is not necessarily the case. Sometimes there's cultural differences that make it harder. Sometimes there's pride. Sometimes there's their own trauma experiences that make it harder. So you want to make it easier for people to receive. Okay. So this is an exercise that can really help you in terms of figuring out what parents need from you and how to position yourself. If I were to say, like, maybe the parent has had some bad experiences with social work, or maybe they had a history of being involved in the child welfare system, I might look at this whole framework a little bit different. And I might start my conversation with, hey, I'm here for you. I'm not here to take your child. You're doing a good job with them. I just want to see, can I help? So you want to think about what they're thinking, think about what they need, think about what they want, and start there before you ask them what they can do for you. Okay, so that's our strategy for parent and family engagement today. If you want to go deep dive into this, talking about how to, get more of those connections, how to get parents to actually participate in the services a little bit more, to do a little bit more of this work, I want you to join me on November 15th. It's from 9 to 10:30. It is a great, great workshop. Now, I have the early bird pricing on right now, and I also have the payment plan on right now. Afterwards, I'll obviously make the recording available for anyone who didn't join us live, but you won't have the payment plan and you won't have the discounted price. So if you want either of those, now is a great time to sign up. And I would love to see you at the event.